Hey everybody, it's the Bible study dude. Let's get going on our post-show discussion. I hope you enjoyed episode 4. That was a great one to watch. So right off the bat, I do want to point out that it is not biblical that Simon and Jesse, the man at the pool, were brothers. That was strictly for the show. This episode masterfully intertwines two opposing approaches to the perfect opportunity, the title of this episode. The zealots plot to assassinate a Roman official at an opportune moment, and Jesus' quiet, intentional timing to heal one specific man. God's kingdom is advanced not through violence and political maneuvering, but through quiet compassion, healing, and obedience to God's timing. The zealots were passionate for God, but completely wrong in their methods. So my question to you is, how can we discern if our passion and actions are aligned with God's peaceful kingdom message or for our own desire for swift worldly justice? And I know I talked about it in Nerd Notes, but I want to touch on the Pool of Bethesda just a little bit more. The various translations of the Bible say that an angel of the Lord stirred up the waters, John chapter 5, verse 4. But depending on your translation of the Bible, John 5:4 may be blank, completely missing, or have a footnote. For example, the church that I attend uses the NIV version of the Bible, and John chapter 5, verse 4 is blank. In the oldest manuscripts that scholars have, verse 4 is not there. It wasn't until centuries later that this verse was added. Scholars believe that this verse was added because scribes would sometimes add notes off to the side to explain things or to correct one another if something was wrong. So this is a possible explanation of why this was added later on to other translations. There are no known ancient traditions in Judaism or ancient literature that support the notion that the bubbling waters had any healing powers. This is purely superstition. Archaeological evidence does show that the stairs leading into the waters were shorter steps with a larger ledge after every 3 to 4 steps. This is a very similar structure to the Pool of Siloam, which was a mikveh. Most likely, at the time of Jesus in the first century, the Pool of Bethesda was a mikveh to ritually cleanse the Jews coming in and out for the holidays. Now, the man that was healed at the pool was not named in the Bible. Jesse is a fictitious name for the show, but the significance of him being invalid for 38 years has some really deep spiritual meaning behind it. In the book of Deuteronomy, it tells us that the Israelites wandered in the wilderness for 38 years because of their unbelief. Now I know what you're thinking. 38? Dude, isn't it 40? Yes, you're correct. But the first two were just preparing, spending a year at Mount Sinai, building the tabernacle, etc., etc. It was 38 years from the time that they refused to go into the promised land after a negative report came back from the 12 spies. This once again supports a notion that Jesus was a greater than Moses figure for the Jewish people. So my question for you are, what pools are we waiting by in our own lives, hoping for a specific outcome through a specific method? For example, career success, the perfect relationship, self-help books. What are we using instead of turning to Jesus as the ultimate source of healing and help? That's all I have for discussion on episode 4. If there's anything that we did discuss that you'd like some further clarification, I will do my best. Please leave me a comment. If there's anything in the episode that we didn't discuss that you want to talk about, please leave me a comment. Now I'm going to get into our Bible reference guide. The phrase, whoever sacrifices to any god other than the Lord, that comes from Exodus 22, verse 20. The zealots praying right after Simon Z gets his orders and he's walking out. They are praying from Zephaniah chapter 3, verses 15 through 18. When Big James has a question to Jesus about the enemies celebrating the festival with the Jewish people, that comes from the book of Zechariah, chapter 14, verse 16. When Simon Z was standing at the steps of the temple, the preacher is praying also from Zephaniah, a few different verses. Zephaniah 3, verses 17 through 19. The phrase, zeal for your house has consumed me, comes from Psalm 69, verse 9. Some of the different names and places you can find the festival that they were celebrating. Festival of Harvest can be found in Exodus 23, verse 16. Festival of Weeks, or the Festival of Ingathering, can be found in Exodus 34, verse 22. And the Festival of Tabernacles can be found in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 33 through 34. Numbers chapter 29, verse 12 through 40, and Deuteronomy chapter 16, verses 13 through 15. When Jesus starts the festival by saying, "Woman of valor, who can find?" you can find that entire passage that comes from Proverbs chapter 31, verses 10 through 31. And the main portion of this episode, the healing of the man at the pool of Bethesda, you can find that in John chapter 5, verses 2 through 13. That's all I have for episode 4. I hope you've been enjoying season 2. We've reached our halfway mark. Next video, obviously, we're going to be getting into the latter half of season 2. We haven't quite met all the disciples yet, but we're getting there, so hang tight. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, anything at all, please interact with my page. I love to see you guys interacting, commenting, liking. I really appreciate all that. I'll see you guys back here for episode 5 real soon. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day, and God bless you.